Hello everyone, today I'll be talking to you about three fragrances. One of them is a new launch at Chanel, and this is about Chanel Comète, and the other two are Vetiver Tonka from Hermessence, and the last one will be Oud Alezan, the latest launch in the Hermessence line. Now let's start with Chanel Comète, and this is the first launch in quite a few years, ever since Chanel Le Lion and the exclusive line. So let's see what Olivier Polge has been doing lately. Okay, this is quite interesting. I'm smelling a very violet type of scent, which is fruity and leathery. Oh, this is gorgeous. It has that, there it is. It has that very crisp violet / iris type of smell that's quite similar to Après l'Ondée, at least in the opening. And there's also a crunchy, green, nutty sort of base, which is very yummy. This reminds me of Après l'Ondée quite a lot. But this is a bit woodier and more bitter. And quite an interesting scent all around. It's definitely powdery. Now I'm thinking in terms of Missia, but I think Missia is sweeter. This is woodier than Missia. I think Missia is more powdery than this. But then again, well, because I looked on the notes for this new launch, which hasn't been announced on the Chanel website as of yet. But the notes are very interesting. They cite cherry blossom, aldehydes, iris, heliotrope, and musk. And just by the look of this on these notes, you could basically tell what this smells like. It is sort of in the same region as Missia. It isn't definitely in the same region as Après l'Ondée. It's somewhere in between these two. But the cherry blossom notes are quite interesting. There's a woodiness to this that's very delicately woody, and it reminds me of an Aqua Lagoria cherry blossom, actually. Aqua Lagoria cherry blossom from Guerlain, which is long discontinued, but it was quite beautiful, and it's definitely quite clear, the cherry blossom note. It's not fruity at all. It's just mildly, delicately floral, delicately woody, and delicately powdery. This is spectacular. This is something I like very, very much. And the iris in this is quite leathery green, sort of like the way it's presented in number 19. It's quite beautiful. I like this. Like this quite a lot. Now I do have to let this settle, so let's go speak of the other ones. Let's smell Vetiver Tonka. I don't think I've ever smelled anything from Hermessence. I do have some other samples. One of these, one of these years I'll get to them as well. Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting, this one. It smells exactly like the title. I think this is more vetiver and coumarin, because the vetiver is definitely center stage. This is nutty, syrupy, dark vetiver that's unusually bright. I know I said dark just a second ago, but it's a play on light and dark that's kind of messing with my nose. It's quite zingy, it's quite fresh. There's something very, very playful and light in this. Now, I know vetiver works very, very well with white florals, especially jasmine and orange blossom. And there's definitely hints of jasmine and orange blossom in here. And because of this, because it's a lot more, it's not just hints. There's a lot more jasmine in here than in, Guerlain's vetiver, for instance. And because of this contrast, the vetiver becomes sweeter. It becomes, again, crunchier, greener, and fresher. This is a very, very beautiful scent. Now the Tonka part, as I said, it's grassy coumarin mostly, with nutty undertones, which is to say, it's pretty far from being almondy Tonka. It's more like nutty pistachio type of Tonka, if that makes sense. And together with the nuttier parts of the vetiver, well, you've got yourself a very interesting scent. It's quite beautiful as well. Well, I'm burning through them. This will be a very short video, short and sweet. And the last fragrance for today will be Oud Alezan, which is their latest launch. It's 2024. I've never smelled an oud done by Hermès before, so I'm quite curious. Oh, this is rose. This is rose oud. And both the oud and the rose are quite skanky. They're quite funky. Quite interesting. I should compare this. I think it smells quite... because I recently did speak of the X-rays at Guerlain. I think this is quite similar to the Rose Centifolia from Guerlain, especially in the opening. It's a funky rose, quite interesting. Does remind me quite a bit of Musc Noble as well from Guerlain. I don't know if... I mean, for me, I don't think this is something that's terribly awe-inducing. I mean, it's not something I've never smelled before. It's beautiful. I think the rose is there for good measure. I mean, it's there for flavor. It's not center stage, although it was very powerful in the first few seconds of the fragrance. I think the oud and the musks are very much center stage. They're quite dirty, but flavored quite nicely by this rose. No, there's a bit of a storm brewing. Hope you can't hear this on camera. What I should say about this Oud Alezan is that it feels quite fresh, it feels quite balanced. It's not a very heavy composition, although the scent seems to be quite powerful. It radiates. If you ask me, I think we've had enough rose ouds in perfumery to last us several lifetimes. I don't think this comes with anything especially new, but I guess, you know, the market requires another Oud rose scent. I like that it's quite similar to one of the fragrances I very much love at Guerlain, which was, because it's discontinued now, Rose Nacré du Désert. It's that cold type of spicy rose, which is quite fresh. There's definitely some patchouli in this as well, because you can tell it's quite freezingly minty about this, and something quite moldy, which is interesting as well. Yeah, well, another Oud rose. What are you gonna do? Now let's see them all one more time. This is Chanel's Comète. This is beautiful. Now, Comète as well isn't necessarily something new in perfumery, but just because it's a violet / iris, it's a lot more to my liking, and this is why it's purely subjective. I do appreciate this more, but if I were to judge it more harshly, it's definitely not something new. And I will definitely want to explore this further. This is something definitely to my liking. Now let's smell Vetiver Tonka one last time. And this is a very interesting vetiver. It's with the risk of repeating myself. This is a vetiver closer to its raw form, the ingredient. Quite interesting, but sad to say, to my nose, this doesn't feel as interesting as it should. Because right now it smells very, very familiar. It's like I'm smelling sycamore or encre noire. Not very interesting, this one, unfortunately. I mean, it's a beautiful scent, but I don't think it's for me. And Oud Alezan, derivative. Now, I think I smelled 3 pretty great scents today, but if I were to say just one word to describe all of them, derivative. That's the word. Nothing to write home about. Beautiful scents, all of them. I think definitely I like Comete the most. Definitely this one. I think that cherry blossom works very, very well. But the other two are just, you know, quite plain. Something I've smelled before at other houses or at the same house. So yeah, if you've got any other questions regarding any of the fragrances we've talked about today, do let me know. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.